Yeah, welcome to the A of A, but it's the remix. Now what you got to say? Remix.
Shooks.
Vibration going up, so get out the way.
Welcome to the A of A. This is when Jupiter aligns with Mars, when the moon is in the 7th house. As this Aquarius combines its bars, these heavy punchlines hit you in your mouth. Then I say welcome to the A of A, where information comes free, still you gotta pay for living expenses, food, artillery. A black Adonis fighting harder than the Creed trilogy. I'm leading my fam as the breadwinner, the spirit guider, the protector, head spinner, dead sinner. I'm in the middle of the mayhem, not for games, don't you ever try to play him. Official air sign, I'm a rare find, 100 reps hitting every step on the stair climb. Everybody welcome to the A of A, intellects duck down when my mind spray. Everything is changing on the world stage, we here now, it's the Aquarius age.
Everybody welcome to the A of A. Everybody can't go and it can't stay.
Third eye pump, so what a hater say. I left y'all clean cut like razor blades. Yeah, I'm a psychic, 12 houses ignited. Moon and Scorpio hook the bait, then watch you bite it. Yo, I glow like the moon, my tongue a silver spoon, igniting angles of light while sipping Lotus Bloom. Age of Aquarius, smooth like Sagittarius. Came out the underground, you would think my name was Harriet. Yo, whoever thought I'd have 500,000 followers? That's what you get when you rock with black astrologers. So ain't no stopping me, I guess I'm an anomaly. I had to tell it honestly, I'm probably born a prodigy. I walk with no apologies, age filter alchemy. You hated me as job blessed, but fell in love with Mama T.
Ordinary life can hold extraordinary potential. You gotta feel it to believe it, that's the vice I'm into. I like my poison organic, baby, the price is mental. I don't make the rules, but I read them all, cause I like to bend them. They try to shame me for my source, so we wrongfully. Now they stuck in lower dimensions, wishing they cross with me. Bitches, you out your mind, they ask when they talk with me. Cause, how the fuck you think I'm alone when there's war coming? The veil's lifted, the light revealing dark corners. What was once a conspiracy seem like harsh warnings. Vaccinating the population that mark on. Experiment on the people and bring the martial law in. Politicians in Hollywood do the trafficking, but higher frequencies are united now and we after them. Everybody welcome to the A of A. If you can't move forward, just get out the way. Everything is changing on the world stage. We here now, it's the Aquarius age.
Everybody welcome to the A of A. Everybody can't go and they can't stay.
Banging this knowledge on your mental like Jesus and Buddha. The force of Kali Yuga with the grace of Queen Afua. Aiming my bars with precision like 100 shooters. I'm the yang and yin, perfect blend of the soul of the lunar. I see 11, 11 sevens, triple four, triple twos. My angels always ready for war. I see that 888, now my power's restored. Watching ninjas fall on their sword, now they gotta applaud. Age of Aquarius, my water bearers make it happen. Your karma's on the line, ringing like the planet Saturn. Generational curses broken, we shift the pattern. You stupid if you think I came out of the rib of Adam. I'm the primordial water flow in the dark fluid. And when you see that open portal, better walk through it.
Everybody welcome to the A of A. Welcome to the A of A. Welcome to the A of A. Everybody can't go and they can't stay.
All right, peace and blessings. Welcome to another episode of Self Me Self Podcast. Episode 5. Last week I was like, it's episode 4. I'm like, it's episode 5. Okay, you understand what I'm saying? So we're here in the building. Tell somebody. Matter of fact, tell everybody you know and 5 people you don't know that we live here with one of the greatest minds of our time. You understand what I'm saying? So it becomes my honor and privilege at this time to introduce some, present to others. Self Meet Self Podcast on the hostess with the mostest, our sister, Miss Chanel Johnson in the building. How you feeling, ma'am? How you feeling?
I'm doing amazing, and hello, everyone. I am Chanel Johnson. I'm a peer support specialist and a family support specialist. And again, before we get into this, I just want to say I'm not a therapist. I'm not a counselor. I'm not a licensed clinician. I'm not a psychologist, psychiatrist, or a licensed social worker. I speak from lived experience, from what I've seen, what I've learned, what I've felt along the way. So tonight, I just want to talk woman to woman about us. And let's talk about what it means to be a Black woman and really be yourself without feeling you got to explain or defend who you are. It's okay to love yourself and it's okay to be you.
I'm talking about, right? She said woman to woman because she talking to y'all, not that, me. Me, I'm just here, okay? I'm just here so I don't get fined, okay? So Chanel, before we get into the deep water weed spaces, I was about to have a discussion earlier with one of my sisters. Shout out to Jazzy J, something for the culture. Amazing broadcast, award-winning broadcast, discussing the portrayal of black women in cinema, entertainment industry, and as portrayed by the mainstream media. And so I'm curious to hear your thoughts. Do you think there is a proper portrayal? I said almost that like betrayal. Proper portrayal of black women in the media. Thoughts?
Proper? You know, I feel that what's happening is as we start to pull to the positive, more negative comes and starts to overpour and overshine the positive portrayals that we do have when it comes to cinema and media and social media. Because we'll have a great accomplishment and then there'll be hours worth of threads of us acting a fool, of us being, highly disrespectful, violent, all these things that really don't represent who we are as a whole. Those are incidents, those are just clips. And those 30 seconds will make you believe, not even 30 seconds sometimes, will make you believe that that's how every black woman acts. But when we do something great, it just doesn't get shown enough. Social media is about what you choose to share and what you want to be known. And there are controlling factors behind social media. So when you look at that, you have to think about, why do we just see that? But when we walk out the door, we see it from everyone, or we don't see it as much as we do on social media. So I think that it's an unfair representation, because I'm not going to say that sometimes we aren't out there acting outside of ourselves. But again, it's being televised now. It's being easily accessed as a character of what we are as a whole. That is very untrue.
Mm. Yes. So, what do you think is something that we could do? I guess on our level, or whatever it is, to combat those negative stereotypes presented from those perspectives. And I'm glad that you touched on the social media aspect, because I was so busy into the other world, I didn't even think about the impact in that regard. But it's just as heavy, if not more heavy, in regards to portrayal than anything else. Most readily and accessible.
Well, this is going to be a heavy accountability statement. We have to change our appetite. We have to change our appetite for negativity, our appetite for negative entertainment. We have to stop feeding a desire to see someone that looks like us go down, to see them shamed, to see them embarrassed. That algorithm is what continues to bring it to you and on your feed. And also, subconsciously, it's implanted through media. So when you look at something and it's two women in Walmart, two black women in Walmart going at it. We look at that. For hours after that, you're going to continue to see videos like that. If you see, a woman abusing her child, you're going to see that for hours after that. And the more that you feed into it and the more that you find that entertaining, the more that it's going to continuously come. And then you'll actually start to believe that yourself. Even though you are a black woman, you will start to believe, oh, that's just how they act. And you separate yourself and it becomes a us and them situation, when no, it's always us. Because when we walk outside, someone that's not us does not differentiate us from, oh, she's one of the good ones. And no, well, that's one of the feral ones. That's one of the wild ones. That's not how that works. So we have to first not desire to see that from each other. We should be hurt by that. We should be disgusted by that. We should not be, oh, I can't believe she did that. Well, let me go see what else she got going on. And then now this person gets follows and they get all these, they get paid and they get all these rewards for that behavior. If we stopped doing that and we did it for positive content, if our desire was to see more positivity and we put the money, the ability to make money towards the positivity, then it would stop. But if I'm getting paid to act a fool, I'm going to act the fool and brag about the bag. If I send a video of me walking across the stage graduating, it's going to get a little something from friends and family. But if at that graduation I get into a fight with my professor, that's going to go viral. So we have a desire to continuously see and feed into the negativity that is spoken about us. And we actually help create that reality by continuously engaging and desiring to see that, because we're also attracting that as well in the algorithm.
Talk about accountability statement, okay? Better make them statements plain out here. Yeah. They out here on Little Shop of Horror. Feed me, Seymour. Feed me now. Oh, my bad. I'm in the elder section.
Yes, we have graduated. We are in the balcony with the binoculars now.
Yes. So again, I just want to stay in that vein for a second. How do we properly guide our younger generations, our children, grandchildren? Now, some of us got grandchildren here. You understand what I'm saying? In regards to what proper representation looks like. The fight for representation, to get on the screen, to be seen, to be heard, blah 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 blah. You get what you ask for. You understand? You want the representation. You ain't qualify it. You ain't quantify it, and then you're like, oh, all right. Well, at least you start doing the concession thing. At least we on, and then the next generation gets translated to them as if this is the only thing that's acceptable. So how can we do a better job from that perspective to sort of guide that discussion back to something positive, like you were saying?
Well, here's the thing. We got to look at the root of it. You're talking about a community and a nation of people who have generationally been seen, unseen, and unheard. And when you give them a tool to be able to be seen or heard, they're going to do whatever it takes to be seen or heard. It's the same thing as if with the child. A child is trying to meet a need, and in meeting that need, that child is going to do whatever's necessary to get seen and heard, to get that need met, even if it's not positive. They're going to do something unhealthy, and we have attached to social media in an unhealthy manner in order to be seen and heard, because what we represent on the screen inside those reels is not our reality. It's what we want you to believe that we are, have, or are doing. But then you have to log off. And when you log off, you go back to whatever you are not doing in real life. And that's what causes that envy. That's what causes that jealousy. That's what causes that cattiness, that wanting to go back and forth, because you see other people doing the same thing as you and you believe them and you're not even telling the truth. So you go on there and you can create this personality. You can create what you've always wanted to be, but that's not your reality. And psychologically, that actually takes an effect on you. So, of course, if I log off and I'm sleeping on my friend's couch, or, in my mom's basement, or just not in the best situation, but the world thinks that I am. And now I got to keep up with that. So when I go in public, I got to live outside my means. I have to not be able to live as vibrantly as I want to, because I'm not telling the truth online, and I can't let anybody in the public catch me out there. So you create all these constraints on yourself just by not being real. Just be you, because you don't feel like you're valuable enough as who you are to come to the world as that with value. You don't see where that is. So that lack of self-esteem, that lack of self-worth is what's going to continue to have us being in competition with each other in arenas where we don't even really have a competitor. It's really ourselves. So we are projecting so much out there because of what we have so many voids within ourselves that actually need to be filled. And until we can get to self-awareness, self-accountability, and self-actualization, we're going to continue to be inside this rut. And it's going to be difficult for a parent to raise a child that can critically think, that can think for themselves, and that demonstrates leadership skills when the parent does not have that themselves, and they don't see anything wrong with how they're parenting. So it sometimes takes that aunt, that neighbor, that person at school that sees something in that child. It may not always come directly from the home. It may come from someone annexing the home, but somebody has to come in and plant that seed in that child that there's a better way. And that's where we as a community need to start feeding and pouring more into the children that we have around us, whether they are our blood or not. These are the people that are going to run our policies, pass our bills, that are going to take care of us when they get older, that are going to make the insurance laws and all these things that are going to affect us as seniors. If we don't put into these children as a community in a whole, then, and we just leave them to where they are, we're going to feel that later.
I was striving to stay safe, striving to stay a little safe. Okay. So we got the parents and the grandparents trying to go viral with the children and the grandchildren in this social media space. I have never seen such a time in the public in my life. Not as to say that it did not happen, because we was children growing up and we seen what we seen firsthand in the face. But there was, there was no cameras and none of this preoccupation and attraction in that regard. So how do we present that from the last statement that you said in regards to with our children and grandchildren, with the adults and the grand adults?
You have to become the change you want to see. You have to understand that you need to change, and that's where everyone gets uncomfortable with, is that we have to change as a community. We have to buckle down we have to buckle down to build a foundation for the youth. Yeah, we have to make that sacrifice. We have to be the ones to say, this is how you do it, and help them. We have to show by example, and we're not doing a great job. Speaking about womanhood, when you look at women on social media, just do a little research on who has the most followers, who is making the most money in the black realm of women, and what are they doing. There's a grandmother in her 60s that makes her videos in her underwear dancing around, and she has children, she has grandchildren. They don't talk to her. And when I see her, I feel two things. First of all, what are you doing? Why are you doing that? What's going on? But then that's where the concern comes in. What's going on? What is going on with you psychologically that you're doing this? Because there's signs that something is wrong there, and everyone's attacking her, but no one's saying get her help. Someone should be calling adult services and finding out to make sure that she's mentally stable, because she's also taking care of her husband, taking care of her mother, and her house is a mess. And it's like she's so overwhelmed, and she's just trying to find this pocket of something for herself. And she's meeting the needs of everyone else, but she's trying to get her own needs met. And she found a very unhealthy way of doing it that's not going to create any type of great legacy for her, but she's getting that need met. And obviously there's something wrong here. There's something that needs to be looked into. Or, you're going to have someone that is never dressed. I don't police how women dress. You do what you want to do. But that woman that is giving you the least influential content is going to have the most influence, because no one wants to hear about IUL insurance. No one wants to hear about how to get a mortgage. And it's not that no one wants to hear it because they're just ignorant. If a person doesn't feel like they can have access to that, they're just not interested. They're going to go to where they feel like they belong. They're going to find their tribe on social media. So we do need to come back to the community when we learn things, when we understand things, so that we can say, hey, I know you work, those hours and you don't make much, but if you start drinking Starbucks every day, you can put that money into this, and then you and your children can have insurance. If we teach people how to exchange things, if you can let go of those cigarettes, you'll be able to get, home care for your mom. If you let this go, and if you pay attention and let me help you with your budget, I can teach you how to get in shape in order to get a mortgage to where you're paying mortgage instead of rent. And then now you have an asset. And then now I can show you how to build equity in that home, to go buy another one and buy an investment property. If we have those conversations, not from a sense of, oh, you just don't got anything going on, let me just come in here and just tell you what you need to do. No, from a sense of, let's build something. Let's start working together, and let me tell you how to do what you want to do. Your deepest desire is to do that. Let me tell you how to do that. Let me help you understand money, how it flows, and where it can benefit you, even with the smallest amount. Let me just tell you how to pay your bills to get your credit right. Let me tell you how to not use payday loans, how to split your rent twice a month by taking half in the first check and half in the second, instead of going to a company that's going to charge you $20-something each time to do that. It's going to be a situation where you want to educate. Everyone's not going to listen. And for those that don't want to listen, keep moving. Somebody else will. Don't spend time. Don't get stuck in mud. But it's going to be, we learn things and then we gatekeep. We can't gatekeep. We gotta give it up. There's room for everyone. Our dollar is the most circulated dollar in the country. There's room for all of us to touch that dollar. We don't have to, well, let me get mine first. Well, let me, in some cases, yes, that is a thing. But on the mass scale, for the greater good, let's share that information so that we can start building. And let's not all want to be chiefs. Let's be Indians in this situation and work together in community so that we can start building these cells of accomplishment, so that people can see that it can be done no matter where they are. Make it accessible, make it easy. But for those that are being brought this information, respect it. Put some respect on it, because people spend a lot of time, hours, and money out of their life to learn these things. Don't play with it. If you're not ready, just say that. But again, we have to get to that point of accountability and being real with ourselves first, because we can never externalize that if we can't internalize it.
You know I got a song, right? I'm learning. You know I got a little song. I got a song before we get into the crux. So play the song, get your take, get your feedback, and we can delve into the realm of Black woman. Okay. So tell somebody that we live. Miss Chanel is dropping these bombs. Let the bombs. Look, I'm just here to witness the bombs. Okay. Bombs are being dropped. Tell somebody we are live.
The Black woman's alive.
Return the fugitives from American justice, including
cop killer, Joanne Chestermark. Flashback to the Turnpike 73. Cop shot on the floor. Who's the culprit aside of Shakur? First they attack the Panthers, they drop COINTELPRO papers with all these questions and then subtract the answers. These females think they got it hard and result of dancing. Imagine being America's most wanted like Charles Manson. The epitome of a goddess, facing a murder rap, railroaded on all the charges. First they took her freedom, in the hospital, shot up, still bleeding. Took her to the precinct for a lineup. Your Honor, wasn't interested in the facts, just the fact that the officer was white and she was black. When the trial was a wrap, she was pregnant by a co-defendant. They put the gun to her stomach while a baby in it. Don't need another leader, they ain't wanna feed her, hoping she miscarried. That was the pig's manners. All along she had another plan, show the strength of a queen that's from the motherland. All praises, she ended up in Cuba, no extradition. Black woman, you need to listen. Yeah, yeah. The black woman's alive. The black woman's alive. The black woman's alive.
Every time I went delving deeper into the history of African people and the history of the world, which is the history of African people, I always bumped into the black woman. There was no way to get around the black woman in this whole process.
The black woman is God. She birthed man like blackness through the stars. When the creator made her, a portal opened in time. Now we manifest reality through a womb that's divine. It was prophesied that birth she'd be a leader. Umbilical, wrapped around her neck, call her Nzinga. Queen of Ndoga, queen of Matamba, kingdom of Mbundu, people of Angola. Ruler like a father, she serious with the combat. Slavery was poppin', she made the Portuguese fall back. Play it like she couldn't, she bring it to where you all at. Turned a servant into a throne so she could talk facts. Pressure made her brother commit suicide. That's when she stepped up like it's do or die. Whatever to unify, never deal with cowards do. Mover of the generals, the black woman is powerful.
Yeah, yeah. The black woman's alive. The black woman's alive. The black woman's alive. The queen. The black woman's alive. The black woman's alive. The black woman. The black woman's alive. Yeah, yeah. The black woman's alive. The black woman's alive. The black woman's alive.
Now, I'm sure that most of you know the old story about the astronaut
The black woman's alive.
who went far out into space and was asked on his return whether he had been to heaven and seen God. And he said yes. And so they said to him, well, what about God? And he said,
Thoughts, ma'am?
Yes, sir. There are a lot of people that say that the black woman is God. And I believe that so is the black man. If God made us in his image and likeness, then we both carry that God energy. For a long time, the history of black women. I don't like this dynamic between black men and black women. I don't like the fighting, I went through more than you, or
Right.
do more to me than we do to you. At the end of the day, we just
Chicago Olympics.
yes, that's exactly what it is. We have got to fix it. And again, it starts with accountability. It starts with women being honest with women, and as a whole collectively coming together and fixing our representation and not being okay with that, and speaking to women about that, and for men to do the same. And then once we can kind of get that in order, then we can come to the table and work on that exchange about how we need to interact and flow with each other. Everything is just so rigid right now, and everybody wants people to fit in their box. And we're not a monolith, and we're not going to do that. we're going to, you kind of have to find your tribe. You got to find your circuit, find your current, find your flow with the people that you feel flow with you. And when it comes to women, we have forever felt unappreciated, overworked, undesired, and unworthy because we've always had to do and be quiet. You go do, you be quiet, you don't complain. That's what you're supposed to do because you're a woman. Everything that we do, we're supposed to, and anything that happens, it is the woman's fault. It's the woman, the women, the woman. The kids act up, it's the women. Whether the father's in the home or outside of the home, it's the woman. If the relationship ends, it's the woman. And there are, anytime that you have more than one person, two people are accountable, not one, because you're only accountable for yourself. But if you add another person to that equation, I can't be accountable for what you do, and you can't be accountable for what I do, but we are both equally accountable in whatever situation that it is, unless it is a situation where one person is powerless to make a conscious decision, then that's what changes that dynamic. But if two people constantly come together and make decisions, no matter what that relationship looks like, it could be man, man, woman, 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 man, whatever. There's two conscious minds that made decisions that now equally are held accountable for those decisions because we have the power of choice. So for us, it's, we have so many things that are taking away our identity that we do not agree with, that we are not on board with. And we're just at the point now where we're just going to sip our tea because we forewarn, we guide, we direct, we tell you this is what's gonna. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't believe that because history is shown, and we still end up in the same situation. And then everybody comes back to us and says, "Hey, why are you not helping us?" Because we did, and we got no reciprocity for that. We've lost daughters, mothers, sisters, children, our men, and we've gotten nothing for all those fights, and even the fights that were for us still get taken over. So we're at a place now where we are drinking our tea, we are clocking it, and we are letting you learn your lessons, because sometimes the best mothering and the best womanhood is the one that finally is quiet. We're going to be quiet. You want us to shut up, you want us to be quiet, and we're doing that now. We are hushing, and we are just letting you learn gracefully. And we're doing our face masks and our hair protein packs and our nails quietly in front of our vanities. And we're just taking care of ourselves at this point because we're tired, and we're no longer going to get drugged through the mud for somebody else's cause.
Whew. Okay. Yes. So I'll be listening to you, and you be saying dope stuff. So you once told me you can't be the victim and the assailant at the same time. Okay, so we in this realm of accountability. Stay there. So let's talk about that. What made you say that, and what does that mean to the folks who ain't as smart as you? Okay.
Well, don't say that. It's not a matter, because I'm not smarter than anybody. It's a matter of what your environment looks like and what you have access to, and how you educate yourself, and what information that you allow in, what you feed yourself educationally. So I'm not a, like, I don't even know the word to use, like an authority on anything. I'm just speaking from my lived experience, from the people that are in my circle, the people that I engage with every day, my families, my clients. And yeah, I'm not smarter. I don't like to do that because that creates hierarchy. And to me, when it comes to womanhood, we're a circle, and everybody brings value. And it's not measured by education or intelligence, it's measured by just intent. So when I talk about, you can't be the victim and the assailant at the same time. When it comes to interaction, I'm going to say particularly with men. And I want to be very clear that never would I victim shame. What I want to bring is awareness of prevention. And it is very unfair that we have to take so many safeguards as women to be able to move through life based upon thinking for someone else and what they might do. It's a lot on us. It takes a huge toll. But the power in that is our power of control to change that environment, change that interaction. And I'm not saying if you get into something with someone that is violent, that you cower and you bring yourself down. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying make your plan to get out. And I understand that that may not be today. But in the same token, we can't get into arguments with a male and punch him in the face and then call the police and say, he hit me. We have to be mindful of, one, if it gets to the point to where you need to put your hands on someone on either side, you shouldn't be there. But the consequence to that emotion should not be incarceration. If you feel like he was wrong for hitting you back, why are you not wrong for striking first? We have to understand that, a nation can rise no higher than its woman. And we have to start making better decisions for ourselves, not putting everyone else's needs above our own, and definitely not losing ourselves in the process. But if the nation can rise no higher than us, we have a heavy stake in that. That means that we have a heavy responsibility, and there's an honor in that. Because if it can't rise above us, that means that we play an important role in that ascension. And in that, we have to make decisions that are good for us first. If your partner is not a healthy partner, how do you raise healthy children? It's like washing dishes in dirty dishwater. That's not, no matter how much you rinse, it's always going to feel off. It's never going to feel just right. And there's always going to be contaminants. There's going to be so many impurities in that it's never going to be as pure as we would like it to be. And perfection is not an expectation because it's not a reality. But the best of intent is, and the best of morals, ethics, and values are something that we have to get back to. So when it comes to women, I would like to say, when you choose a partner, that partner should be someone that you would want your son to be like, or if your daughter was a woman, the characteristics of that person should be someone that you want your daughter to be with, because children learn what they live. And if the person that you choose does not have good character, it is not on you to be judged for his character. But the consequence of choosing someone with that bad character is always going to fall back on us, because we chose to move forward and procreate with that. And I'm not speaking from a place of judgment. I'm speaking from a place of experience. We have to understand that we deserve so much more. We walk this earth being appropriated, idolized, admired, and also broken down at the same time. Like, as much as we get our accolades, there's the other team that comes right behind them and is like, too much, bring it back down. But we have to learn to stay where we know that we are. When you know your value, you would never let someone devalue you. So we need to start making more women's circles and spaces and safe spaces for women to collectively be able to come together and help each other through that. Because if I'm in a situation and it's unhealthy, I am teaching my son that this is how you interact with women. I'm teaching my daughter that this is how you allow a man to treat you. Where does the cycle get broken? Where we no longer have healthy relationships. We need to break that. We need to, and it starts in the home. It starts from our representation, and, and it's deeper than that. We have nieces and nephews. We have, children, our friends' children that we have in our life. And when they see these interactions, these children are learning how to do that from us. And if we don't value ourselves, we're going to attract people that are not going to value us. A predator knows its prey, and it's going to heat seek missile your insecurities and all your voids. And they're going to come in and feed that and then gradually take it away, because now I can control you through your emotions. We have so much intelligence. We are very highly educated. We have better access to jobs. As women, we have more today than our grandmothers had. And our grandmothers are the ones that told us, get your education. You need to go learn. You need to get you a degree. You want to get that job? Okay, this is where you start, and this is how you're gonna get to where you want to be. They didn't want us to be them. It's not that we just bucked the system. Our grandmother said, no, ma'am, you're going to get an education, you're going to buy a home, and you're going to make sure that you never let a man do more for you than you could do for yourself. That way, when he leaves, you won't be devastated. So it's not a matter of we don't feel like we need the man, but we are in a situation to where we feel like we always got to be protected and guarded, always for the what if. And that comes from experiences. But at the same time, when we get these things, we have to remember that his struggle is not the same as ours. It's a little different for him. And in the arenas where we are up, they are down. So we can't, if we come into a situation, emasculate. We can't, and we need to look at sometimes behaviors as signs. If you're with your man and he's one way, and he's been consistent that way for years. Like, you guys have been together. You know this is who he is. You've been around him. You've seen his interactions. And something starts to shift. Ask, are you okay? We got to have a little more compassion. We're not in competition. We're not. And ladies, just let me get this disclaimer. We will be talking about men next episode. Right now, I'm just talking to you. We're not in competition, and we have to learn to love. And it's hard for us to love when we don't love ourselves. It's hard for us to trust when we don't trust ourselves, because we know that we don't make the best decisions. We don't trust our decisions. So then we put up this wall, and then we want somebody to chip away at it. But we never know the end point of where it's like, okay, no, this is good. Or we've never allowed ourselves to experience the good to be able to say, okay, this is what safety feels like. This is what security feels like. This is what someone showing up for me feels like. And when you don't have family that you've seen that with, and when you don't have even friends, when it's foreign to you, it takes a lot of time for you to be by yourself. Ladies, if you are coming out of a relationship, do not go back into one. Take your time, get to know you, what you want, what you desire, what you're attracted to. Take that time to know those things, so that when you go back into seeking companionship, that you understand that I know what I want because I deserve that. Not what you feel like you want. Oh, I want him to make a lot of money, and I want him not to cheat and have a good job. Well, here's the thing. If he has a good job and he makes a lot of money, he's not going to be there. So now you're going to be worried about him cheating. Understand the dynamic of the man that you're asking for and what comes with being the mate to that person. Because if he has a lot, he's going to be gone a lot. Or are you willing to, you want somebody that's going to be there more? He might not make six figures. He might actually be 40, 50, 60. But he'll come home every day at 5 o'clock. Understand what you want for you, not by society's description. What will make you feel whole and satisfied in a partner as a woman? But you have to know that and be able to define that for yourself before you can bring that together with someone else for a goal. Your relationship is a business. Don't go into bad contracts, and make sure that the mission statement, you're both included in it, and that you know where you're going and how you're going to scale this business, which means how you're going to make this a thing. Like, how are we going to keep this going? Because if we keep going into it just for love and emotions, oh, I like him, I like her. The mattress mambo is amazing. all that's great, but that dies away and substance needs to come in. How do we handle challenges? How do we handle finances? How do we build and grow? Who's good at doing what? You can't have those conversations if it's convoluted with emotions and feelings. It needs to be dealt in reality and with actual intellect so that you can actually get there. And anything that you start without a goal is it doesn't usually fare too well because it's hard to create a blueprint for nothing. Where are we going? What are we doing with this? So we need to, as women, come back to really understanding our bodies, our temples, understanding the connections that are made when we interact with people in any form. There is an exchange of energy, and we have to make sure that we can't keep allowing in things that are not good for us. It's okay to have conversation, going back and forth, venting and things like that. But if you have people again that are just draining your energy, you're not the victim in that. As a choice, you can say, no, it's uncomfortable, but also don't be assailant at the same time and start to rise in certain areas and go attacking your sisters and your friends and, disenfranchising people because you feel like you're on this other level. And again, let go of what is holding you down, but don't turn into what you're letting go at the same time. It is a constant balancing act when you're trying to change, when you're trying to find out who you are, because there are things that you're comfortable with you want to hold on to. But at the same time, sometimes we can harm along the way in doing that. So it is a balancing act. But that self-awareness, that self-value, that you are the bomb, you are that girl, you are it. Like you are everything that you need to be to get to where you want to go has to be the mantra that we live by and truly internalize and believe in order to have better interactions. And a lot of that comes from not being volatile to other people. We have things that we don't recognize, like the grief of the life that we thought we were going to have. We grieve that. When we make decisions that change and alter what we think we should be, there's a grief process with that because we feel like we can never get that back, or we just are not in the place to do the work necessary to do so. But again, that's on me. I have to make the decision. Well, what do I want to do? Well, what do I need to do to get there? And I just need to do that. And along the way, again, I can't get mad if my sister goes to college and I didn't go for whatever reason. I didn't go. But then she goes, and now I'm envious. So she thinks she all like her. She went to school. That don't mean nothing. She ain't smarter than me. She never said that. It's what you're saying to yourself about these experiences. Instead of saying, maybe I should go ask my sister, how hard is it? Can you help me sign up? Is there tutoring? Like, find out what accommodations you need to get there. Instead of always looking at what somebody else has and say, I can't never. They always. It don't work like that for me. It can. You're not allowing it to, because the time that you're spending worrying about how it's working for somebody else is time that you can be spending figuring out how that can work for you. Being the assailant is not always in a physical form. It can be verbally as well. But because you feel like the world is always down on you and it's not for someone else, now you're the victim. No, I just can't. You have all these reasons why you can't and not one why you can, which means now your mind is not going to give you the motivation to start working towards it. So we have to, in order to stop being the victim, we have to stop looking other people's backyards. We got to stop sweeping around them. We got to stop peeking out their back doors, and we have to bring it right back to us, because what you're doing is placing a mirror in front of yourself of the things that you really want to work on. The things that are, that you disdain about someone else may be things that you may envy and wish that you could have within yourself. And that's okay if you acknowledge it, because once you acknowledge it, you can do something about it. But if you stay in that place of looking outwardly, consistently, it's never your fault. It's never you. You're constantly deflecting. You're never going to grow as a person. And the older that we get as women, the more difficult we seem to think that things are to do, because our clock is running out. So in the moment, always try to self-correct. And when you have that thought, where is this coming from? Why do I feel that way about her? Why am I not happy that she's doing that? That's an accomplishment. Okay, a win for her is a win for me because we're women. If we think of ourselves in a unit, then it's not something to be envied. It's something to gain inspiration from. And in gaining inspiration, that means that the work still is in you, opposed to envy, where it's just, I don't like that. She done got this, and now she got this car, and it's a foreign car, and there's so much money. I wouldn't even spend that type of money on that car. She could afford to do that. You're worrying about all the reasons why she shouldn't or couldn't, really because you want that and you know that you can't. So we got to start being honest with ourselves and checking that. Okay, where's that coming from? And this is a conversation you can have with yourself. So it's not like you have to say it with anybody else. Have that have these conversations with yourself so that you can correct the negative behaviors that are holding you back in life, because the only thing that is in front of you is you, and the things that you place in front of you from your thought processes and the way that you think, your actions and your decisions, or your lack thereof.
I think that's it. I think it's over. No, thank y'all for listening. Okay, thank y'all for listening. Sheesh, sheesh. Okay, y'all see why she is who she is. Okay, she ain't even play with me. I was trying to play. She was like, don't do that. Go sit down in the corner. So y'all see, I left and I went and sat in the corner. Okay, I was on timeout. All right, I was on timeout. We in this together. We are. We definitely are in this together, and we need one another. And we in dire need of one another, righteously, not in the trauma bond space, in the elevation space. So there's some atonement that needs to be done, some accountability that needs to be done, and you are providing a roadmap, providing a roadmap, telling us the truth. Is there anything else you want to say on this topic before we get up out of here?
Well, what I will say is, the reason why I'm bringing this is because I don't think I don't want you to do it. It's not your place to do it. You're a man. You have your own group to talk to about things, because you're not going to understand from our lived experience why we do what we do and where it comes from, and then or even be accountable on how you impacted that. So for you, you go back to your tribe and you say, "Bro, we got to work on this." But I don't feel like a band should be the one to come to us and tell us about womanhood the same way that you don't want us to come to you about manhood. We see it and we have proximity to it, but our lived experience is not the same.
Agreed. So I guess next week I get to take my belt off and bring my chainsaw. We're gonna get into it.
Yes. But
I ain't nice like boss. What is that? I ain't nice like boss.
Before we go to, I would like to talk about accountability.
Yes.
And in how we, communicate. And yes, as Black women, and I am guilty. And that's the thing. I'm not coming from a place of judgment. I'm coming from a place of lived experience. I have been on both sides. I have been a crash out, and I have reformed my ways. Because I have found that the way I communicate and interact has brought me a lot more with sugar and honey than it has with vinegar. And things go a lot smoother, and you're a lot less angry, and things move a little bit different, and it's not conforming. I wanted to become a better version of myself, so I had to sit with myself and work on creating what that looked like for me. And no, it was not easy, and yes, I did it very late in life. So I would hope that I could catch someone much younger to help them try to detour that much earlier, so that you can experience so much more out of life, because you don't realize where you hold yourself back at with vitriol. So, we do think we can say whatever we want without consequence. We think that we should be able to do that. But we need to understand that words have energy. And I'm not saying be silent, because I'm not silent to this day. I'm saying be mindful of how we speak, especially to our men and especially to our children. Our tongues are swords, and we know that nothing is like being cut down by a woman's tongue, particularly a Black woman's tongue. And if you feel comfortable disrespecting a man, that's not the relationship that you should be in. And if you feel comfortable disrespecting your children, you need to seek help immediately, because they are not here for that. We have a responsibility to raise beautiful individuals and peoples and help them flourish into who they naturally are supposed to become. We tear them down, and I understand that we were torn down, but we know how that felt, and it has to start somewhere. We have to change how we interact. Find a better way to say what you need to say without just being ferociously feral in your delivery. It's not always necessary. And when we do that, we need to recognize that that's coming from a place of fear. And that's a defense mechanism. That's a coping mechanism when we go there, because our mind cannot process in the moment the emotion that we're feeling. So everything comes out on impulse. And then some things that you say can't be taken back with sorry. And we can't be responsible for leaving a trail of blazing souls from our womb and our tongue. That's not a safe place for anybody. So if we want to have those proper relationships and proper engagement and proper community, we have to be mindful on what comes out of our mouth and how we deliver things. And again, I'm not saying don't be who you are. Be outspoken, but be careful what you speak out. And no, you cannot say whatever you want without consequence. That does not work. You cannot say whatever you want without consequence. You cannot do whatever you want without consequence. But consequence is not always negative. But for every action, there is an equal or opposite reaction. That is a fact. That is science. And that is how things work. And remember that the universe is a vacuum. So what you put into it, you put out of it. If you put out health, you're going to get back health and wealth and health. But if you put out unhealthy things, you're going to put out, things that are going to be degrading to yourself. Everyone that sits in front of you is a mirror. So what you give to the person in front of you, you will get that back in some way. And it's not a matter of just breaking it down to simply karma. It's a matter of interaction. Energy flows, and water is going to seek its own level. Sometimes it is better even for women to just walk away. If you can. I know in some instances that's not a thing. But if you can see it sometimes beforehand coming, diffuse it. If you can. Again, I know there are situations where that cannot be done, but be mindful on how you speak to somebody. Because as you're sitting there cutting each other, where is love ever allowed to enter in? And that's whether it's with you, a sibling, a love interest, a child. Love cannot penetrate that level of foul harm that comes off your tongue. Because how can I say something so detrimental to you that I know is going to deeply wound you and come back and say, but I love you, I was just mad? That's not reality. And we have that same energy in us as men have in them. And because we cannot physically beat them, we do verbally attack. And that's our go-to. But if we feel like we're in that level of defense, why are we there? If we see this in someone and they bring that out of us, why do we continue to engage that? We're not going to win. We have to stop being comfortable and finding these unhealthy situations as being a place of care and love. The protection of a man does not look like that. It does not feel unsafe ever. At the point to where it's not safe, it's not protection. It's something else. It can be many things, but love and protection and admiration for your womanhood is not what you're being presented. And that can be from anyone. Trust your gut and your feelings, because what you feel is real. You feel that for a reason. So please do not go out with venom. Always try to find the best way to bring yourself forward in conversation and interaction so that we can start to teach those that are looking at us, not just up to us, but even looking at us, how to handle interaction better.
Can I clap? Am I allowed?
No, not yet.
All right. I wait. I wait. I wait.
And again, we have to stop having conversations as women where we see everyone but ourselves. We have to really, really start looking at, how did I show up in that situation? What could I have done better or differently in that situation? And that is not just in intimate relationships, that is an interaction across the board. And also, as Black women, we do know a lot. Yes, we are intelligent. Yes, we do so much. We lead, we guide, we raise. Yes, I'm not taking that away from us. But we are not the authority on anything but ourselves. And we have got to stop coming forward. I know because yeah, you experience that from your perspective. You cannot tell me that I'm supposed to feel the same way that you feel. And everyone is guilty of this from time to time, thinking, well, why is that so hard for them to do? Because you're not in their mind and you're not in their experiences, knowing what blocks that they have from being able to move through the maze the way that you did. Everybody's not going to take the same path to get to their destination, but we should be there to support each other through that. We do need community, but you don't need a crowd to validate you. You have to understand that we are individuals, but as the one. So if it's almost like that weak link, if your link is rusted and it's loose and it has chips and nicks in it, as we start to pull, towards what we're trying to go to, you're going to break off and you're going to say, we broke you or we left you, but you came that way. Start to heal yourself so that you can move in sync with all your desires and all your dreams and all the things that you want to do. It's going to come from that ability to see yourself. I got rust here. How do I get this off? What do I need to do to fix this? How do I strengthen my chain? Well, if I put more metal on this, if I add more here, and if I take away here, and if I stop doing this, I'll be able to do this. There's a lot of moving pieces that we have to learn to navigate, and it's okay. And it's okay to do it by yourself. Yes, I scream community, but there are some things when it comes to your self-work that you're going to have to keep to yourself, because you don't need anybody putting any seeds of doubt or mistrust for yourself into what you want to do for you. People will learn to adjust to how you present yourself to them. Are they going to like it? No, but they will adjust because they want access. And maybe that adjustment may be removing themselves totally. That's fine. You didn't need that. But we have to be responsible for ourselves. Sometimes as women, we try to heal through other people. We have these voids and we feel like we can fix ourselves by helping someone else. And that's how we end up in a lot of dead end and relationships, is that we try to heal externally and through instead of internally and staying put. We have to choose better when it comes to sitting with people that allow us to be ourselves, and also taking those moments to really figure out who I am. Why am I this way? Am I really this way because this is what I want to be? Is this what I seen everybody else do, or I was told I was supposed to be? But does that feel natural to you? When you do those things and when you move that way, is that natural? Does that feel comfortable? Does it just flow organically? Or does it feel forced? Like, I don't really want to do this, but I guess it's what I'm supposed to do. We got to come out of that and we got to find our way. You're not going to be everybody's cup of tea, but everybody ain't supposed to take a sip. And sometimes you don't want to burn bridges, but some bridges need to be burned so that they can never be crossed again. There's always a duality in everything that we do, But we have to remember that we are responsible for ourselves, our decisions, our actions, and our reactions as individuals, as women. And we have more power and control than we actually believe and demonstrate that we do. We do. We just have to use that in a positive way that benefits us and not everyone else. And with that, I would say, mind your spirit, mind your words, and your responsibility as a woman. That's where our power lies.
I just want to know if I can clap yet, because people keep texting me like, you're supposed to be clapping. It's supposed to be a standing ovation. Okay, so they punching me in the face like, you better say something. You better be clapping something. I need you to be congratulatory. All right, so yes.
This is just a call to women to fix it. Let's fix it. And again, I have tore cars up, cut up clothes, bleach clothes, bust people in the face with telephones. I've been all the unhealthy. So I'm not coming from I would never, and I don't understand. I do understand. I just understand what my thought process was and why I reacted that way is because I didn't have proper tools to self-regulate in the moment my
As long as you
emotions.
ain't buy the clothes. Did you buy the clothes that you cut up?
What? No.
I'm about to say, if you bought them and cut them up, I don't know. That's
There's no
bullshit.
value in that. I've broken dishes. I've melted jewelry. Again, and that's not a bragging. It's not a flex. It's not cute. I'm not proud of any of that. But in my lack of emotional state, I have done things that I look back at now and I can't believe I did that because I wouldn't do that today. It's so foreign to me because I would just walk away. I'm not doing that. I'm not even going to exchange that energy with you. I'm not even going to go back and forth with you. So, but I get it. I understand what that felt like at that time. The powerlessness that you feel when something happens and you don't have the tools to know how to navigate, when you don't trust yourself, and when you find value in something that really doesn't have the value that you think it does. And which I really just wanted you to listen to me. And I felt like I needed to be this loud. I needed to drop this bomb for you to listen. And then you listen and then it's okay. But the best apology is change behavior. And I knew that for other people, but it didn't change in my life and the way that my life ran until I understood that for myself. Even for me, we have to learn to forgive ourselves as women for the things that we have done. And again, my best apology to myself was changing my behavior. I had to find ways to figure out who I was and how I want to react. Not just not to react, but what are my options? I had to it was a lot of reading. A lot of reading, a lot of spiritual work, a lot of lectures, a lot of time spent just learning different things to figure out who I was. Now that I know who I am, I'm flowing. I'm on a great trajectory. Doors are opening. Things are a lot easier for me now that I'm in my calm space and honestly out of my masculine energy. I am way more in my feminine. Not that the masculine is not still there, break glass in case of emergency, but that's survival for me. That's not thriving or living. I thrive and live in my feminine. When I take care of that, when I nurture that womanhood, that softness in me, because that's what allows me to move through the world the way that I do, not that rigidness. But sometimes I got to bring that to let you know, but don't play with her at the same time. And I'm still constantly balancing, constantly pulling on both and trying to get that scale right. And I've accepted that that's going to be a thing for me because I spent so much time on that side. But I won't harm you. I'm just not going to harm you because I don't find that doesn't feel good to me to harm you. but I know my value and I know my presence when I enter someone's life. I know what that looks like and I know what it is. And I know that it is more, it will be more for me to remove myself from you than it would to do something to you, because I know what I bring and I know what I'll be removing from you. And I know that with the unequivocally, without a doubt, I am valuable and I'm an asset to any life that I enter myself into. So to remove that to me is securing myself in my sacred space, but also no longer giving you access to something that you don't deserve. I don't need to harm you. I just need to remove myself. Whatever happens to you from that point on is not my responsibility. And that's power.
That is power. Okay. So reclamation, and redemption is possible. You just got to do the work. Got to do the work.
On your terms, defined by you and what makes you feel good as the woman that you are. There is no blueprint. I can tell you every single thing that I did, and some of it might work for you, some of it might not. And you might have some amazing ways that something else works for you that would never work for me. It's okay to be who you are. We do not have to argue, defend, or define who we are for anyone else but ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And once you walk in that, you will be respected as what you show up as.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I don't know about y'all, but I needed this tonight. Okay, I needed this tonight. So if you love what you heard, found value in what you heard, share it with somebody that you love, somebody who might need this breakthrough. It might be that they might be teetering on the fence, on what they need to do or how they need to do it. Uh, you always give resources as well. Somewhere towards the end, can you share some of the resources with the people who are listening, who might want to be courageous enough to make that first step?
I would say, I'm always a big proponent of therapy. Seek therapy. And again, therapy does not mean going to a psychiatrist, get that medication. Therapy means going to someone that is experienced in the things that you've gone through from an educational standpoint and has tools and resources that can help you navigate that verbally, not forcing medication. Therapists are not going to give you medication. They can give you the referral to go to the psychiatrist, get the medication. But when you're talking to someone that doesn't know you and they don't have a bone in your fight, and you tell them what you have going on, they have a way of pulling things out for you to see that you just might not have thought about, that you may need to change your perspective on. And hearing it from someone that doesn't know you and that is really just looking at trying to help you not feel what you're feeling and to change that so that you can feel better. It's more comfortable than you think. It might be a little awkward in the beginning, but you have to talk to somebody. And if you don't want to do that, create your sister circle. Create your circle of women. And I'm not talking about 30, 40 people. I am talking about 30, 40 people if that's what you need. But find those intimate women that you know that you can hold each other accountable without offense, that you can come together and that I can, you pour into that person and they're going to give you back what you want because they understand what you need. But also make sure that you take care of that person as well. Be mindful not to overload. Take care of as much as you can yourself. Go to them with what's just so overwhelming or what you just need in that moment, or make sure that you reciprocate what they're giving you. I would also say read, read. Go to the library, find some books on womanhood. There are so many books out there. Queen of Fool has Sacred Woman. There's so many things that can help us understand and heal what's in our subconscious mind, what's in our DNA. We need to understand where this started so that we can know what we need to do to fix it. There's so much literature out there, and it's free. The library, you can get the books online. Clean your house and play a book instead of playing, instead of playing music. I do it all the time, and I've actually started listening to only affirmative music so that I'm constantly, when I'm studying, instead of hearing lyrics, I'm constantly being fed affirmations. It helps me sleep better at night. It helps me wake up. It helps me through my day to just constantly be manifested upon and affirmed in all the things that I want and do, so that as I think my thoughts, they're being affirmed at the same time, externally and subconsciously, which pushes to the universe, this is what she wants and needs. Help her get there. So, it's a self thing. We got to go looking. We got to search. Watch some videos. There's some amazing videos. And I would even say step out of your box and outside of your religious realm. If you believe one thing, go look somewhere else. Because there might be some, even though you may not believe in that total concept of religion or whatever, there may be some jewels there that you can resonate with. And it's not to convert you, it's just to expand your mind and understand where other people may come from as well. Because we still have to use critical thinking, even within our self-work, because we don't want to become so selfish that we don't think about how what we do affects other people too. So expand your mind, look into other things. I study a lot of Buddhism. It has been life-changing for me because I want to search joy. I'm searching for joy and peace. There's so much joy and peace there that's my home right now because of where it keeps me and how it keeps me balanced and how it constantly holds me accountable. I am always accountable on how I show up. Whenever something happens, how did I show up? What could I do different? So challenge yourself. And I'm not saying that you have to do that, but just go read, sit in a library, go to Barnes and Noble, go to Starbucks, grab a caramel macchiato upside down breve and go scan through those books. Sit down, sit still. We got to sit down and just search. And if we don't want to read, books ain't your thing, honestly, just sit with yourself and just talk to yourself. It doesn't even have to be out loud in your mind, like, all right, I got this going on. Or grab a pen and paper. This is what I got going on. I got to fix this. What am I going to do? I don't have the money for this, but I don't have the time to work more hours. How am I going to fix? How do I get out of this situation? And getting it out of your head, in your head, it's an idea. You manifest it when you write it down. And then you affirm it when you put it into action. So we have to start softening ourselves to get into the things that work for our womanhood and our flow of action so that we can start making these things happen.
Yes. Okay. Got the blueprint today. Got the blueprint. Thank you, ma'am. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So you're going to tell them about next week?
Next week, we're going to do something a little bit different. I have taken the liberty of asking Black women questions that they have that they would like to ask about Black men. And I will be interviewing our host so that we can get some of those answers from the Black male's perspective. Because like I said, it's not my place to tell Black men what to do. But I think the healthiest way to go about getting answers and having a dialogue is to ask the questions and gain understanding from a male's perspective. Because I'm not an authority on men, so I don't want to speak on manhood. But I would like to engage manhood and ask questions so that Black women can actually be heard in a safe space and actually get the answers that they seek and comfort the Black women into accepting the answers that they seek. The answers that you get, you have to accept what it is because it's coming from them. So we have to respect their standpoint. And then from that, we can take a look at that and see how to work on engagement.
Okay. Well, I'm excited. Okay, so whoever the host is that you're going to be asking these questions to, I'm sure he is prepared, okay, to answer them questions. All right.
I'm sure you will do an amazing job.
Me? I'm about to get a substitute teacher for next. Let's see how many sick days I got. But it'll be good. It'll be great.
And again, I would like to offer as well, for men that would like to ask Black women questions, send me an email and I will ask the questions. I will answer the questions and I will go get a general consensus from my wise counsel, because I do have a wise counsel of women. It's not a large one, but I have one, and we will try. And I also have different ages. So I like to get a span of, ideologies to be able to answer the question. But if that's something that you are interested in, or if you do have a burning question you would like to ask a Black woman, ask the question, because we can't come to understanding if we don't know what we're trying to understand. And I'm not one that will be offended by your question. I'm probably going to understand why you're asking it, even if I don't necessarily agree with it. It doesn't matter. It still deserves to be heard. Black men deserve to be heard, and they deserve to know, and they deserve to be answered in a safe place where they are free to literally try to understand. If you're coming from a place of being an asshole, I can't do much for you. But if you're coming from a place to understand, I'm here for that.
Right.
And if you would like to present that question, it will be at Chanel, CHANEL, at self-meet-self. Chanel.selfmeetself@gmail.com. And women in the interim, if you have some questions you would like to ask the men, you as well can email me at chanel.selfmeetself@gmail.com, and I will ask those questions for you.
There you go. Ask those questions, okay? You will find you somebody to give you an answer.
Yes, because I have my hit list for you, but I'm willing to add more to it.
Okay. Sounds like fun. Is that it? Did we cover all of the bases? Are we good to go?
We are good to go.
All right. So y'all have an amazing week. It's Friday. Go do something creative. Go be someone creative. What's your final word you always tell us before we go?
Take care of yourself. Take care of yourselves. Be easy with yourselves. Show yourself mercy. Give yourself the grace that you give to other people. Learn who you are. Go meet yourself.
Till next week. Peace.
Thou shalt not be afraid for the terror by night, nor for the arrow that flieth by day. 1,000 shall fall at thy side, and 10,000 at thy right hand. I can't explain the way these crown loads they come to me. Morning meditation, Psalm 91 and 23. Water in my money tree, manifest abundantly. On a mission, running free, everything they wanna be. In summary, there's been a shift within the earth sphere. So now people hear my messages and words clear. Still shining, the illest with the brilliant timing. The gold mine who had to go find the silver lining. Ain't nothing new underneath the sun. I be going through it too, you ain't the only one. Don't take none of this life personal, cause we all got some lessons that we working through. Ain't nothing new underneath the sun. I be going through it too, you ain't the only one. Don't take none of this life personal, it's just the lessons that we working through. So why you tripping, huh? Why you mad, son? Had some good days and some bad ones. Might win some, might lose some. That's just the way it goes, life 101. Why you tripping, huh? Why you mad, son? Had some good days Never will you see a thief return a treasure stolen. No need to lock away your heart if it was never open. Truth heals the spirit and it's better spoken. Most never heal, they remain forever broken. I protect over my cells like a prison guard. True and living star, pay the price to get these wisdom bars. Listen hard, I was cut out of a different cloth. Turn your light up on these hoes and never switch it off. The queen's a winner, moving like a seasoned ninja. I'm even tempered, never beefing like a vegan dinner. I found peace within my inner, that's a sweet surrender. Don't relive your lessons twice like repeat offenders. They'd rather see me decompose like leaves in the winter. Want me to undermine my shine and decrease my shimmer. While they competing in subliminal battles, I'm only fighting hidden parts of my invisible shadow. Cause I learned that people never want the bitter truth, just the sweetness. But you need both the light and dark to reach completeness. Goddamn, people throw rocks and hide their hands. Vindicate the wolves and they silence in the lambs. Fight to keep your soul purer than a sacred virgin. Even if you die and rebirth into your latest version, your fate is determined by how you shake the weight of burdens. You gotta save yourself, become your own favorite person. Ain't nothing new underneath the sun. I be going through it too, you ain't the only one. Don't take none of this life personal, cause we all got some lessons that we working through. Ain't nothing new underneath the sun. I be going through it too, you ain't the only one. Don't take none of this life personal, it's just some lessons that we working through. So why you tripping, huh? Why you mad, son? Had some good days and some bad ones. You might win some, you might lose some. That's just the way it goes, life 101.